All right, so we are back. We have a lot to talk about today. We really do, because
We do.
we have a Brewers trade, we have a Badger game, we have another Badger game, and then we have three Bucks games.
Yeah.
So we have a Badger football and a Badger basketball game. So we're gonna start with basketball, seeing as that game just ended. Um, so I watched the whole game. Jake missed the first half because he was at work, like a hardworking guy. But the first half was the Connor Esigian, Max Klesmit, and Isaac Lindsay carrying the show. They had 19 of the Badgers' 23 points in the first half. Um, I gotta say, everyone was doing a fantastic job on defense, forcing Dayton into contested jump shots, and they were switching all of the screens. Connor Gilmore, with 35 seconds left, dives on the floor, gets a jump ball, and the Bucks get a three after taking, or the Badgers get a three after taking a timeout after getting that jump ball. So I want to give Carter Gilmore credit for that. And that was part of a 7-0 run over the last 5 minutes of that first half. So just really good stuff with Wisconsin. Justin loves it. He says he misses both of us deeply. Well, you'll be able to see us again later tonight, even after the show.
Yeah.
We're going to be on another show tonight. So
I can get the name of the show. You can keep going.
Okay. So getting into the second half, Marcus Ilver on the rebound. It gets tipped out into the backcourt. Chucky Hepburn brings the ball back up the floor. Mark Ford comes to the top of the three-point line. Cashes a three. That's just more diving on the floor, extra hustle, which was done all game long by the Badgers, offensively, defensively, in between, diving on the floor. Like, that's Wisconsin basketball. And ultimately, that's the reason they won today. They didn't win because they scored a bunch. They didn't win because they were, that Dayton was just missing a bunch of shots. They won because they played harder.
Mm-hmm.
Dayton made some shots. They did, but I'm 115% confident in saying Wisconsin played this game harder than Dayton did. So getting in second half, Marcus Silver actually broke an 8-0 Dayton run at that point too. Yeah, glad they showed hustle and grit because the offense was, very bad. And I have this written down. Guys got to hit open threes. Whether it's Stephen Crowell, Chucky Hepburn, Jordan Davis, if you're wide open, that you have to knock those down if the Badgers want to pull an upset tomorrow against Kansas. So the other things that I had with the second half, Isaac Lindsay was running the backup point guard, which is interesting to see. We were kind of wondering if it was going to be Jacoby Neath or Kamari McGee, or I brought up last week maybe even Jordan Davis running some backup point guard. Today it was Isaac Lindsay running some backup point guard. And just seeing the Badgers working so hard on the offensive boards it's just great to see. 2 shot clock violations in the second half for Dayton. One of them was right after Stephen Crow turnover, trying to get a high ball. Badgers came down defensively, forced a shot clock violation. Matt, I didn't check the box score for Chucky's field goals. I was much more focused on the bench starter point distribution. The Badgers bench scored 24 points, and the starters scored 19. So the starters were actually outscored by the bench, and it was basically just Connor Esigian, Marcus Silver, and Isaac Lindsay that had the points off the bench. The other thing that needs to be brought up with the starting lineup is Max Klesmit. In my opinion, despite Connor Esigian doing really well offensively, Max Klesmit is the player of this game. Max Klesmit, 2 seconds left, gets a block shot on Kobe Elvis as he's driving to the basket. He kind of had a step on him. Max Klesmit goes and gets a block shot, and I'm like, that's Greg Gard. You said Zach Showalter. That's Zach fucking Showalter right there, wearing number 11. To block that shot in that type of situation without fouling, that's fantastic by Max Klesmit. And then Jake and I at the same time were pointing things out that I think it was Tyler Wall had the ball just inside the corner 3-point line. And Chucky Hepburn standing at the top of the 3-point line. Max Klesmit's trying to set a back screen for Chucky, and Max is out there directing traffic. He's trying to get Chucky to move this way. He's He had a ball where he passed the ball to Steven Crowell, and he's trying to get guys cut. Like Max Klesman's out here trying to direct traffic, and he's a shooting guard, but he's not the guy who's handling the ball. He's not the point guard of the offense, but he's out there taking charge of shit.
Yeah.
I love to see it. And he played great defense in this game, including the clutch block, like Matt said. I'm thrilled with the way that Max Klesman played in this game. Connor Essegian, obviously, on the offensive end, too. Just comes down to everybody doing their things efficiently. Tyler Wall had a lot of tough shots that he just didn't put in the basket. Steven Crowell, same thing. But, Jake, what did you see from when you picked up this game that stood out to you?
So when I started watching this game, we were up by 10, and then they started going on a run and cut the game, and we were making a bunch of threes.
The technical foul.
Yeah, I came in right around that time. Then Illiver hit a three, and then he took a couple threes. And, people want to complain about the offense, and rightfully so. They did not finish, but I will say them running the offense and getting good shots, that part of it made me feel good. Because I actually thought we got some good open looks. You're talking about if you're wide open, you got to make them.
Yeah,
I thought we got a lot of good looks. Even if it is a post up and it's Tyler Wall, posting up, I expect him to make that kind of play because that's the respect I have for his game. So those shots are going to start falling. But the defense, if that defense can stay at that level, I'll say I saw a tweet today, and I agree with it. It said, the Badgers have very big 11 seed in the Sweet 16 vibes. And I could see it. I really could. Because they don't win pretty. They win ugly. They win gritty. And you think that the luck is gonna run out. But these guys, they have heart, they have soul, and they go take that win. Right?
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing that I see. I don't see luck. You either make or miss, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, the Badgers are playing phenomenal defense, and Max Klesman, his feel for the game, I'm not just talking on offense, on defense as well. Like, you saw him come from out of bounds and jump a passing lane when he was overplaying. You saw him go get loose balls. I mean, he's one of those guys where you're just like, he always makes the play because he's always around the ball. He's one of those guys.
He had another steal too, and Essegian did this once too. Where he's behind a post up just outside the block. And as the entry pass comes in and a bounce pass, they get that left hand around and poke away that bounce pass and go get a steal. Essegian and Klesman both did it. Matt brought up that the Badgers had 5 fouls called on us before Dayton was called for a single one in the second half. That was annoying, honestly, because when the Badgers got 2 consecutive foul calls on the same possession. One of them was for Tyler Wall being kind of pushed out of bounds, right around half court as he's trying to get around the corner. Mm-hmm. And then the other one was on Steven Crowell, who was definitely fouled. Holmes had his hand in the cookie jar, and then he's trying to call for a travel. Dude, your arm was in between Crowell's arm and his body. That's a reach-in foul. I don't really know why you're complaining about that. But then Dayton's coach is just going nuts, and he gets teed up. And then Dayton goes on a run. So I guess it did what it was intended to do as far as Dayton is concerned. But the fact that they were complaining about those foul calls, which were definitely fouls, was, like you said, interesting, I guess, is the way to put it. But
I'm not going to read too much into that kind of stuff. I'm not going to sit here and, be like, oh, they were trying to make it a close game, because we were missing shots. So they weren't trying to make it a close game. They can't control from making or missing.
Right. And I mean, Kobe Elvis had a pretty good stretch where he was making some tough shots.
Yes, fadeaway.
The one fadeaway that he made over Essegian was a tough shot. Yeah. You tip your cap on that. That was tough to make that shot.
I agree.
So, I mean, is there anything else you want to throw out there about this game? I mean, all things considered, with this being the only Badger game we had between last week and today, I've seen too much corruption historically not to be skeptical. I mean, I don't think it was anything that was egregious. As far as missed calls go, I think it was.
Matt, we're not talking politics, buddy.
Was it
You want to talk corruption?
was it Gilmore that got called for the blocking foul when he kind of had his heels like right outside the restricted circle?
I cannot recall, and I'm not going to
I
say
don't
it's
remember which guy it was. I don't remember if it was Gilmore or Ilver. It might have been Klesmit or Esigian too. Had his heels like just outside the restricted circle. You know, it's just one of those things where it's like a missed call. It's not. I didn't see anything controversial as far as fouls go. That's what I'll say with that. Matt, actually, it can.
It does.
Matt said this game doesn't really matter big picture though. It can actually. I was listening in the first said of the one winning season tournaments and winning national championships. I think it was something like nine of the champions have won an early season tournament, so it can correlate. And beating a number 24 ranked team is nice. I don't know if it's going to get Wisconsin ranked, and I don't know that it really should. We'll see how tomorrow goes, but this game specifically, to play defense the way that they did, like I'm thrilled with it. So, looking at what's next in this tournament, they play tomorrow at noon against Kansas, which is weird because it's like the highest like rankings of games, but that's the first game being played, which is kind of weird. You'd think you'd want that one to be a little more prime time, but whatever. That's just me. And then if they win tomorrow, they will play in the championship at 11 o'clock on Friday, which also weird. And if they lose, they will play in the third place game Friday at 1:30.
Can I answer that? What Matt said real quick.
Go for
Momentum is a real thing, especially in sports. And this could be a momentum game where it makes people start to believe like, all right, next shot I get like that, I'm going to make, or, we're going to continue to play tough defense. This could be a game that could springboard them into high rankings. That's all I'm going to say.
Sure.
Having to play on Thanksgiving, but I hate. Dude, yeah, they're in the Bahamas. I don't feel bad for them at all. And they're getting school paid for. I don't feel bad for them. Well, most of them, I guess.
Yeah, they're in the Bahamas. Yeah.
See all those little kids there. I was like, man, I want your parents to be my parents because they got some money, boy.
Yeah, it doesn't matter in the conference, but it could matter at the end of the year. It could matter in next week's rankings. If they get a chance, okay, let me put it to you this way. Let's say the Badgers beat Kansas tomorrow, and they're on the bubble at the end of the season, and you're looking at which teams have key wins, signature losses, and the Badgers have a big number 3 Kansas in their win column. That could make a difference.
Hey, don't sleep on Dayton. They're picked to win their conference too. So that could also go into a key win. They win their conference and they get into the tournament. Say it's like a 4 seed or 3 seed. We don't know how good they're going to be, but we're playing. Predict the future, right? So if they all of a sudden just go on a run and they get hot and they're a 3 seed, that could be a key win too with us on the bubble. Sure. And to switch to college football real quick. They're going to have to vote on the playoffs here after this weekend. And, the word on Michigan is they have a really weak non-conference schedule. So that's definitely going to be something that they bring into consideration when they talk about, should they be above a USC or should they be above a LSU who probably played, some heavy hitters. They play heavy hitters all year because SEC is really good at football. But, that non-conference stuff does matter. Look at the Badgers last year when they got a big win over Houston.
That's a good point, too. Is there anything else besides the fact the Badgers play Wake Forest next Tuesday night? That'll be the only other game between now and next Wednesday. So we'll have 3 games for sure for the Badgers, 2 more coming in the next 2 days, and then Tuesday night. Is there anything else you want to throw out about the Badgers?
No, but I always look forward to the Big Ten ACC Challenge. That's fun.
All right. So we got a little bit of baseball to talk about today. And it is a trade that I predicted a good while ago. It was pretty early after the season ended that I was on the Hunter Renfroe's probably going to get traded train. and I still am on the Tyrone Taylor should be traded train, especially with the Brewers adding an outfielder on a 1-year deal today, who I will look into more, and he'll probably be more part of the preview, the Brewers primer in the spring. But looking at the Renfroe trade, I mean, we've previously discussed this. There's reasons I think Renfroe was traded to save money, second to get playing time and at bats for Sal Frelick, Joey Wiemer, Asterio Ruiz to get them in the majors. I'd like to see all of them at once. Signing an outfielder today makes me think that's not quite going to happen. It could be Asterio Ruiz because he's already played in the majors. He's on the 40-man roster. It could be Asterio Ruiz right away. If they do find a suitor for Tyrone Taylor, then I think Sal Frelick is the next man up. And he is the one that I want to see in the majors the most because I think he's got the most to offer. That said, Brewers got 3 pitchers in this deal. They're all 26 or younger. And I saw so much complaining on the return for Hunter Renfroe based on the pitchers have high ERAs. One of the guys hasn't made it out of AAA yet. That's not enough to get in return for Hunter Renfroe, which a guy who is in his early 30s on a 1-year deal left, 1 year of arbitration left, when we're looking at Willie Adames, Brandon Woodruff, and Corbin Burns all being due raises in arbitration. It's not really that surprising of a move. Renfroe getting traded can be explained, but the minor leaguer they signed on a major league deal is confusing when it felt like they were clearing the way for youth movement. What I really just saw, like in 15 minutes that I saw it before the show, is that he can be sent down. So he's pretty much just a flyer. And he's on a 1-year deal, so it's not anything like, they're putting him in the plans of the future or anything like that. He might even just be there to make the young guys feel like they have some competition. Honestly, that's just a potential narrative to throw out there. I have nothing to support that because there's so little out about Blake Perkins. But looking at the 3 guys they got, Jensen Junk, they got, I know, saw a lot of people that, they literally got Junk. Like, it's annoying. But he throws for strikeouts, so he's throwing Junk out there. And dudes are swinging at it, so he's got that going for him. They got another guy. His name is Piguero. I forgot what his first name is. And then Seminaris, who is basically Brent Suter 2.0. So Junk is 26. He was LA's number 16 prospect. He comes in as the Brewers' number 14 prospect. He's their 4th pitcher overall in their prospects. He throws 4 pitches. He throws a slider, a fastball, curveball, and a changeup. He locates them all well, but the slider and fastball are his most used pitches. Matt said, is it weird that Suter getting released is still the move that pissed me off the most? I mean, it's not a bad thing to be mad at. I mean, he was a fun guy to have around.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
Yeah.
Even if he wasn't a transcendent player, he was a great guy.
This is going to sound mean, but I don't think he's worth $3 million.
I can see that. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah. I love Brent Suter, but unfortunately, he's not worth $3 million. Okay, so back to Jensen Junk. His slider is nasty, bro. He throws like an 82, 83 mile an hour slider. It is 2.4 inches above average on horizontal break.
Wow.
So, dude's slider, it breaks. I can't remember exactly how many inches it breaks.
69.
No, it doesn't break that much. But it's like 10 and a half inches of horizontal break. So it's moving almost a foot. So he throws a nasty slider. He throws it 45% of the time. So his slider isn't junk. I mean, it depends if it's in or out of the strike zone. I mean, he throws a lot of them low and away, and dudes just wave at it. I don't know. Take the context how you will. But he throws the slider 45% of the time, fastball 43% of the time. So actually uses his slider more than his fastball. Averages 22% whiff on his sliders.
That's pretty high percent.
That's, yeah. and
Almost one of every
15% whiff.
four.
Right. And 15% whiff on his fastball. Doesn't
That's
throw
also
the
pretty
curveball
good.
or changeup much, but his curveball, he does also get a 14% whiff on that as well. So, dude's got good stuff. He's 26. You put him in the Brewers pitching lab. I mean, you put it in the fact that he gets ground balls when dudes do actually make contact on him. And we're looking at a pretty good pitcher, honestly. You put him in the Brewers pitching lab. I think that's actually a pretty solid guy to get back. He's probably going to start the year on the opening day roster. I don't think it's going to be on the rotation just because the Brewers have a pretty stable rotation and they're going to need some help in the bullpen, which is where I think Figueroa could factor in. He's 25. He's a reliever. He's another fastball slider guy. His fastball average miles an hour, 96.
Oh, shit.
His slider average, this is his average slider velocity, is 91.
Oh, wow.
For contrast, Junk's slider is 82, 83. Figueroa throws his at 91 on average.
Yikes.
That's the dude that has the high ERA. I'm like, dude, I was arguing with this one guy. I'm like, dude, you got to get beyond ERA. There are better metrics for determining what makes it so that a pitcher can be potentially good or not. And then you put him in the Brewers pitching lab. I'm like, if you're only looking at ERA, that tells me that you're probably one of those people that wanted Corbin Burns traded in 2019.
So, right, for real.
So, Figueroa's got the stuff. It'll just be up to the Brewers pitching lab to get it out of him. And then looking at Seminaris, he was a 5th-round pick in 2020. He throws 4 or 5 different pitches. He's, like I said, very similar to Brent Suter. And he's probably the farthest away from the major leagues. But at the end of the day, trading Hunter Renfroe is, like Matt Arnold said, trading from a position of strength. They said it's not a salary dump, but it's potentially clearing salary space for the guys that are due raises in arbitration, which Corbin Burns figures to be estimated around $12 million. I saw from Spot Track, and Brandon Woodruff's probably not far behind. And then I saw Willie Adames was estimated a little over $9 million for this season. So those three are all getting raises this year in arbitration. That's pretty much what we're looking at. So Colton Wong is rumored to be a guy that could be getting traded. The Mariners are checking in on him. So we'll see. That could be another way to potentially clear another $10 million. Matt said, yeah, people get way too hung up on reliever ERA too. Haters ERA. Yep. It's a thing too. And this can affect relievers and starters, more middle relief, but leaving guys on base and then the next guy comes in and gives up, say, a double with the bases loaded, but all 3 of those earned runs go on the guy ahead of him, even though the guy that came in to replace you is the one that actually gave up the hit that scored the runs. Yeah. So stuff like that can skew ERA. Like I said, with the analytics in baseball, there's so many different metrics you can use to determine whether or not a pitcher has the potential to be successful than just ERA. Wins and losses is another one that should just be tossed out. It shouldn't even be a track stat for pitchers,
or quarterbacks,
or quarterbacks. I've fucking beaten the shit out of that drum too. Is there anything you want to say about the Hunter Renfroe trade? I know he was kind of your guy. I'll toss out one more thing if you don't say it.
No, you go ahead. Toss it out. I'm gonna let you get everything out.
All right. Last thing I want to say. If losing Hunter Renfroe was that important to you, like so much so that it made you sad or made you think the Brewers aren't trying to win or made you angry or whatever, go watch some Joey Wiemer highlights. Joey Wiemer, I'm going to call him Baby Renfroe because he's basically the same guy, just 7-ish years younger. Dude's got a good arm in right field. He hits for power. He's got hair flow. He's got everything that Hunter Renfroe has. He's just in a younger version. So if losing Hunter Renfroe makes you sad, go watch some Joey Wiemer highlights on YouTube and feel better. Don't be sad, get glad.
All right. Well, I was just going to say, we talk about this kind of scenario a lot on this show of kind of let the dust settle. I guess we're trying to say, like when, the Packers get off to a bad start or, the Bucks are shooting bad in the first half. Like we tell people to watch the whole game, right?
Sure.
Well, with trades, I want people to wait, and I know this is hard. I want people to wait to see how the players are on the new team.
Yeah.
Because, like I told you before, not on camera, but off camera, I told you before that, a change of scenery can be a good thing for a player. So who doesn't say that Junk comes in here and he just starts fucking striking out people left and right, man, right? Like, we don't know. Who knows that, your boy, you've been on the Sal Frelick train for a long time now. Who says he doesn't come up here and just turns into freaking Bryce Harper, man? We don't know. Is he gonna hit 280 and hit 30 homers? We don't fucking know. We don't know. And
I'm not gonna lie to you, Sal Frelick makes me think of Bryce Harper, but I'm not gonna make that comparison yet until he starts playing in the majors. But it makes me think of him.
All I'm gonna say is, settle down. There's no need in wasting your energy and bitching and complaining anyways. It just is really, really disappointing and stressful and all these other verbs and adjectives, describing words, to see nothing but complaining every time one of my teams makes a move. Every time the Packers pick up somebody, I see 100 to 200 sarcastic comments on every post. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, people. They have to make moves.
Right.
Other teams are making moves too.
Right.
These are the under the table moves that we're hearing about.
Yep.
But because there's so many Packer creators, content creators, we're hearing about them. And that's not a bad thing.
Right.
Just like when they picked up this latest linebacker from the Rams, it's like all I saw on the post was just like, oh, this is going to save the season. Well, Jesus Christ, and just don't watch the goddamn game on Sunday then.
Yeah.
Because I'm sick and tired of watching you guys bitch. Just, and then they trade Renfroe and you tell me about it. And all of a sudden I'm jumping on all the social medias and I'm reading. And I'm like, everybody's negative. And it's so fucking annoying, dude.
I posed the question to a few people because I saw a lot of, we're waiting for prospects to pan out. How has that worked out in the past? Well, for example, the past 4 years, they've traded all their prospects trying to contend in the playoffs. So sorry that they haven't had guys up because they've been trading them for Mike Moustakis and for Jonathan Scope and for picking up Yasmani Grandal and trading for players. Matt said bringing back Geronimo Allison will actually save the season.
Okay. I know we're not big on negativity, but if he takes Watkins snaps, nothing against Watkins. Sammy Watkins can be a phenomenal human being. He's just not a phenomenal football player anymore.
Yeah.
Him and Rodgers, for some reason, they're just not on the same page.
Yeah.
They're just not. It could be Rodgers. It could be Sammy Watkins on some plays. It could be LaFleur calling a bad play for a certain player sometimes. Whatever it is, Sammy Watkins and Aaron Rodgers don't go together.
Yeah.
That happens. It's okay.
Yep.
Geronimo Allison does get along with Aaron Rodgers. And he will have that camaraderie and know where to be on certain plays and shit. So I would be okay with Geronimo Allison taking Sammy Watkins snaps. That's the only thing. Not saying he'll save the season, but
So the thing with people being like, oh, we're gonna wait for prospects, it's like, eventually you got to call up prospects. You can't just leave them in AAA. Like, you got to find out who's major league ready and who's not. And for players to have previously not been major league ready doesn't mean that the guys that they're going to call up aren't major league ready. That makes no sense to me that people are like, oh, Lewis Brinson and Corey Ray were so great. I don't give a shit. Those guys are those guys. These guys are these guys.
Right.
Completely different players. Like, eventually you have to fill in with prospects. That's what the Brewers did in 2018, 19, 20. They were bringing up pitching prospects. They were bringing along Corbin Burns and Freddie Peralta and Brandon Woodruff. Woodruff was first, and then Burns and Peralta after that. Burns and Peralta both pitched out of the bullpen for a little while. And then they were full-time starters. And now they're both all-stars. Corbin Burns has a Cy Young Award. Like, you have to find out what you have in your prospects, especially the ones that are performing well. So that was a big complaint that I saw was, we're betting on prospects. We traded one of our best hitters. It's like, listen, this is the hypothetical I posed. People are, Churrio's moving up the ranks. He's going to be on the 2024 opening day roster, bet money. Seeing so many people being like, oh, prospects don't work out. They never work out. We're betting on prospects because the Brewers don't want to pay for proven players. And again, they bring up that Hunter Renfroe is a free agent after the next season. The other thing is, let's just picture with us for a second. Mitchell, who's already, I have him penned in as the opening day starting center fielder. Say they bring up Mitchell, say they bring up Ruiz, and Frelick. Let's just start with those three. I'll leave Weimer out of it. Say they start with Mitchell, Ruiz, and Frelick to play center field and right field, and Perkins is just a mix-in, whatever. What if all of them hit at the same time? What if all of our prospects hit at the same time and the Brewers are a dynasty for the next 5 years? I'm rolling the same dice as you are on Twitter by saying that they're not going to pan out.
We could switch this to hockey. Look at the Chicago Blackhawks a few years ago when they were a young up-and-coming team and they won the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they kind of flamed out, but everybody thought they were about to run NHL for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
With Patrick Kane and company,
Yep.
That can happen. It happens in sports.
It happens, yeah. Bill said a lot of people forget that prospects turn into our core players. And that's what I said to somebody. And I'm like, he's like, the Brewers haven't developed any prospects. And I'm like, Brandon Woodruff, Corbin Burns, and Devin Williams proved that to be false. And he's like, well, how many World Series have they won? And I'm like, that's really the comeback that you have for that. And
that's all he had left. That's all he had left.
That's the only thing. Like, only success is rings. That's what it comes back to. When negative people have nothing left to complain about, it's, well, they don't have a ring. That's all they come back to. That's the same thing they're doing with the Packers. Oh, Rodgers only has one ring. He's got 4 MVPs. Does that mean that his career is a waste? Like, you can do these things and you can say, sure, this could have been different or that could have been different. But if the only way you ever find success is if you win a championship, you will be a miserable fucking person. You will be a miserable sports fan. If the only way you find success is if your team wins a ring. And I'm like, this is what I said back. I'm like, so you're telling me that Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani are essentially worthless because they have no ring? Bro, I guarantee you Angels fans are having fun watching those two play, but they don't have a ring. Are their careers worthless?
Bro, you can name how many.
You need to be able to find positive takeaways from shit without it ending in a championship. The NFL, 31 teams don't win a championship every year. The NBA, Major League Baseball, 29 teams don't win a championship every year. Should all of those people be fucking miserable because their teams didn't win a championship? No. Come watch our show. We'll find you positive takeaways even if your teams go 0-17 or 0-82 or 0-162. We'll find stuff to be positive about. It's not hard. Jake and I adopted this mindset. It's not hard to find positive takeaways. All you have to do is look for them and not get brainwashed by social media where everybody wants to fucking complain just to have people agree with them about their complaining.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's validation. People want that validation so bad they will complain on social media just because they know other people will be there to complain. It's fucking poisonous in our fan bases how bad it is, too.
It is.
Graham Mertz is the A1 example that I would give you for how poisonous Wisconsin fan bases have gotten when things aren't going well. It's disgusting, honestly.
You want to flip the script? Talk about a guy that used to get talked down on, and he plays for the Bucks, Chris Middleton, and then we won a title because it's only about winning titles, right? So as soon as we won a title, apparently Chris Middleton is just good all the time now. Now, I'll be honest. I used to dog Middleton a lot. A lot. I won't lie. I won't hide from it. Tyler used to be like, dude, what are you looking at? I'd be like, bro, I kind of hate him. You know, I still have not gotten over that Toronto series. A little bit of my heart has not gotten over that. But now that I look at it from a different light and we've adopted this mindset like you've talked about, I don't nitpick little shit that I did with Middleton anymore. Yeah. Like shot attempts, and sometimes you're forced into those shots, you know?
Right.
But yeah, fucking Graham Mertz, dude. Jesus, that guy, if he threw and he's done this, if he throws for 5 touchdowns on Saturday, people will still find a way to complain about him.
He never wins big games or whatever. That's what it'll be. So Bill said same things are ripping into the pitchers we got for Renfroe. Let us work with them. We've done pretty well keeping our bullpen stocked. Bill, I'm not sure if you missed. Like I kind of went through the pitchers a little bit. You can rewatch it later and get a little bit more information on them. But that's exactly it. I mean, putting some of these guys in the Brewers pitching lab and finding out what happens with them, like absolutely, like give me 3 flyers on guys that have good stuff in exchange for $11 million in savings, and for a guy who's going to be a free agent at the next season. So,
see, Matt, you just proved my point. Matt literally just proved my fucking point. He will not talk about him because of that one title run. What if we would have came up short and he was still making shots? You gonna talk bad about him now because he doesn't have a ring? Think about that.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee people would. But he didn't win a ring. But he was still making shots.
Yep. And I recognize that earlier in his Bucks tenure, he was inconsistent, and he still is at times. Mm-hmm. But bottom line is he's the Bucks closer. He's the Bucks #1 closer.
Oh, and he spaces the floor, and he's a big body, plays defense, can guard multiple positions.
Right. When you need a bucket, you go to Chris Middleton.
Yes.
I'm just saying that run makes it impossible. I've always been a Chris Middleton guy. And I dealt with it with Jake and a couple of guys that I used to work with.
I was
that were Chris Middleton haters, and I'm like, he's got all the stuff. Like if he gets consistent, he's going to be an all-star, and then ta-da, he's an all-star.
Bro, that goddamn Toronto series.
Tim, I get it. I've blocked a lot of people just because they're just blatantly pessimistic, and it's awful. Like it's just all it does is just take your energy away. It's okay, Bill. We forgive you for missing a little bit of the beginning of the show. I won't hold it against you.
You're here now. That's the important part.
Yes. Hey, I gotta say, for everybody that watches this show and follows our page, I am so fucking proud when we make a post and one person says something negative and that negative person gets ratioed by positive people. I fucking love it. Oh, that makes me so happy. So, Bill, I know you've done it. Matt and Tim, you guys have been watching the show for a long time. When people ratio negative people on our posts, I love it. That makes me proud. It makes me happy. It makes me feel like we're doing good stuff. So I appreciate everybody that does that. Makes me feel good.
And
all right.
We're not in La La Land, right? When I watch games, I get pissed off too. Okay? You're allowed to still have emotions, but I want you to digest everything and not just shoot from the hip.
Right.
And trust me, I'm a shoot from the hip guy, especially when it comes
to
the
knee-jerk reaction.
But let the game happen. Take a few hours, think about things that happened in the game, because you're going to tweet something or post something on Facebook or whatever you're going to do during the game. And then, say the Packers, when they were down by the Cowboys by 14 points, this Packer team's terrible. They came back and won. Watson looks phenomenal. Rodgers look good. Now you look like an idiot. Yeah. But then you're going to be like, no, but at that time they look bad. Well, then let the whole game play.
It makes you sound like a whiner when you do stuff like that.
Exactly.
The Badgers-Nebraska game is another perfect example of whining before the game is over, or complaining, in the fourth quarter even, before the game is over. Bill said he bought a 75-inch TV so he could see what he was getting pissed at.
Bro, I have a 65-inch, and I sit right next to that son of a bitch on Sundays, and I'm like, oh, my God, I'm so mad at you right now.
Matt said he's a newer fan, so he missed the development years, admittedly. Jake and I did not miss the development years. Jake and I went to this game together. This is a red and green Giannis bobblehead.
There it is, baby.
Jake and I did not miss the development years.
Man, we went through the
15-win season.
We went through the Bucks having the worst record. Yeah. And we get
losing by 50 in the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh God. I remember celebrating that one win against the Bulls
because they got a buzzer beater.
Yeah.
Jared Bayless.
Yeah, I remember that. All that, man.
They went to Jared. Yeah, and Matt, really, it's hard to not react immediately in this immediate reaction world, and that's a really fair point. I actually said this to Jake the other day. When it comes to wanting players traded or coaches fired or players kept or players traded for or anything like that, it seems that a lot of people don't want to get better. They just want to automatically be better. That's why it's a new coach, a new coordinator, a new player, a new quarterback. We need to do this one thing, and then we'll be right back to contending for championships. And nobody wants to actually like go through the grind a little bit. Like we went through the grind with the Bucks. That's what made winning a championship feel worth it. That's what made it feel like a load off the shoulders. That's what made it feel good.
Oh,
Like it's what makes that stuff feel worth it is going through the grind and getting there. Like obviously I get that we don't want to go through a 5-year rebuild with the Brewers, and I don't think that trading Hunter Renfroe means that the ownership doesn't care about winning. It's one guy who's a free agent at the end of next season. If they trade Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff, different scenario. Completely different scenario. But the way that it appears on paper is that they're getting rid of guys, not getting rid of, that's kind of harsh because I appreciate those guys. But they're trading guys so they can keep other guys who are more important.
But the mighty dollar.
Sometimes can't get butthurt when people make some statements. Truth hurts sometimes. I agree. There's a lot of dumbasses out there. Yeah, and that's true. And at the end of the day, if it comes down to if you're in a position where you feel like you want to say something super negative and knee-jerk reaction and be super harsh about it, remember at the end of the day that athletes are people. And not to mention only that, but Graham Mertz, for example, like we're going to get into the Badger game now. Graham Mertz is a college kid. He's not Aaron Rodgers, who's in his late 30s and he's got some thicker skin from being around the block a couple times. Graham Mertz is in college. So, yeah. Bill said team control on player contracts is huge in a small market, and that's totally true. And that's why I said, if say Frelick, Ruiz, and Mitchell and Weimer all hit at the same time, and then you mix in a guy like Robert Gosser, and the Brewers move on from an Eric Lauer, and they retain Willie Adames, and Bryce Durang does his thing, like the Brewers could be good for a long time if all those guys hit at the same time. You can say, what if all these guys suck? But I can say just as easily, what if they all turn into all-stars?
True that.
It's just as easy. All it is a simple change in mindset. So let's talk about this Badger game. Let's start with our 3 stars. I think we're going to have some overlap, and it's going to be a lot about the defense. This game turned into a ground and pound game real quick with the wind, which didn't seem like it was affecting stuff. And then all of a sudden it's like, shit, like the wind is affecting stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like the wind isn't that bad. It's that bad. It's horrible out there.
Matt said, what if Yelich and Adames click at the same time too? Exactly. I mean, that's a perfect example too, is what if those guys are doing well at the same time? And then you got 7, 8, 9 dudes that are speedy and get on base right before those two.
And for all those people that are going to be like, you're saying a lot of what ifs. Well, the hell do you think the GMs are doing? They're doing a lot of what ifs too.
You're throwing just as many what ifs out there by saying, what if these guys all suck?
Exactly. So for 3 stars, there's one guy that I did not put on there because that's your boy. So
yeah, he's my number one.
only have one defensive guy. But just know that there's 2 defensive guys that definitely deserve to be on here. So 3 stars. My first one, I went with Ches Malusi. Ches Malusi was pretty damn good, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Sparing they seemed often injured Braylon Allen. I have some more on him. He's on my list later. But 21 carries for 98 yards, 4.7 yards average. I mean, in a game where you said, right, we weren't throwing the ball well, the wind was crazy, and they knew we were running. For us to have 2 running backs close to 5 yards per carry, that tells me that the defense was playing really, really well.
And one over.
Or offensive line, I mean, too.
Pat, real quick. Brewers need to have hitting for average. Sal Frelick, Asterio Ruiz, Garrett Mitchell are average on-base guys. And low strikeouts, too, except for Garrett Mitchell, who's a little bit higher strikeout. But Frelick he's the real deal. All right, so I'm going to skip to my number 2 real quick just because I have the running back room. So I will let you talk about the rest of them. I just have all of them as a whole, but I will let you talk about what you're going to talk about. Stick with me, Bill. Bill's getting ahead of me. Stick with me, Bill. I'm coming to him. My number 1 though is CJ Getz, because I've been watching him like 4 weeks in a row now get better and better and better and better. He went from underrated performer to now he's my number 1 star. He had 7 tackles, 2.5 tackles for a loss, and a pass defense. He has grown exponentially over the last 4 weeks, and I'm loving what I'm seeing from CJ Getz. He gets gold star, number 1 star. CJ Getz is my number 1 guy.
Yeah, that's the guy I kept off because I know that's your boy. I was like, yeah, I can't touch this guy. He's phenomenal.
I got to him early.
So my next guy I have is Braylon Allen. He had 18 carries for 92 yards, 5.1 average, a 22-yard long. The reason that I put him on the list, no, he didn't have a crazy game, but with him being banged up and still running hard and still not shying away from contact, I mean, most of the game, I mean, that was a gutty performance. So Mertz had some huge, yeah, he did. I will say this, Braylon Allen, he was a leader on Saturday. A lot of that win, I think, deserves and goes to him because a lot of times you see him rallying the guys in the huddle, like, let's go on the sidelines, let's go, let's do this, stay together. And Braylon Allen has been phenomenal.
Yeah, that's a really good thing to bring up. I mentioned that I have the running back room as my second one. I'm going to skip down to number 3. My number 3 is Graham Mertz. Bill, no, you are not wrong for thinking Graham Mertz should get a star for holding things together on the last drive. He did put together some good throws. And I mentioned the wind because it not only affected the 1 missed field goal, but it did also affect Graham Mertz's interception. He underthrew the ball. I will say on that interception, it looked like he had time that he could have set his feet instead of trying to throw that ball on the run, and he maybe would have got a little bit more under it. But, I do think the wind is a factor on the interception. I'm not saying that, it shouldn't count against him because it was windy. But we did find out that it was windy. And the wind was affecting the ball, and this turned into a run-heavy game. But, like you guys said, holding things together on the last drive, and like Matt said, some huge pearls with the quarterback sneak from the 2-yard line. Even RG3 was shook. He's like, I can't believe they ran that from that far away from the goal line. Like,
I don't know if it was just a burrito affecting him.
Quarterback sneak. Yeah, that was weird, too. That was weird. He's eating a burrito.
Dude, you could tell how big that burrito was because and he's a quarterback, so he has big hands, right?
Right.
When he grabbed that thing, I was like, bro, that looks like a football in his hands. It's a massive burrito.
So 2 touchdowns for Graham Mertz, 1 passing, 1 running. Yep. And this ties into the other guy in the running back room, Isaac Garendo, to make that 27-yard catch that put them on the doorstep. That was fantastic throw and catch. And not only that, but Graham Mertz was a victim of some drops and 1 pass that Skylar Bell caught but didn't get his toes down. Chimere DK had 2 drops. Bell had 1 and Lewis had 1, I think. If all those balls are caught, Graham Mertz finishes with 12 of 18, which is a 67% completion percentage, which is very respectable, and an additional touchdown. And we're talking about Graham Mertz having 2 touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, and 1 interception. If all the dropped balls are caught, we're having a much different conversation. And Graham Mertz is going to be the number 1 star.
And I will say on that interception, like you said, after I saw the field goal, I was like, all right, that wind it's real. And all the people get mad at him for his decision making, and I understand that. He actually had a guy wide open on that play.
It was the right decision. It was.
So
just
it wasn't
I think he had time to set his feet and throw. But
it was just it's the elements, and that's going to happen, especially when you play in the Midwest. It's football. What it is.
It's football.
Yeah. I'm going to give my last star real quick here.
Yep,
so
do it.
My last one, Njog Meta. I've kind of got on his train a little bit, and he's really, really developed into a nice middle linebacker, man.
Yeah.
First of all, I wanted to really learn this guy's name because it just looks like alphabet soup.
His first name is tough.
So, he had 5 total tackles, 4 solo, a sack, 2.5 tackles for loss, and 2 quarterback hurries. So to say this guy didn't put his stamp on the game is ridiculous. But he was very, very good. I do have a stat about the defense. Do you want me to give it right now or wait till we talk about defense?
I was just going to throw one more thing out there. Njong Meta was my underrated performer. He was the Badgers' best tackler in the first half of this game, is what I wanted to throw out with him. So, did you have an underrated performer at all?
No, because there's just going to be redundant stuff about the defense. Sure. But the defense has been doing their damn thing, man. The last probably month, I would say. They've been doing
all right.
some
Give me
shit.
your stat about the defense. Let's talk about it.
So I actually got this off of the Wisconsin Badgers Facebook page. The Badgers have held opponents under 200 yards in 3 straight Big Ten games for the first time this century. Yeah. Under 200 yards. That's pretty damn good.
Damn.
Dude, when you look at the stats of this game, it absolutely makes zero sense that we won this game by 1 point. This is one of those games where stats are misleading.
Yeah. Obviously, the Iowa game is too. It's just not in our favor.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So Badgers got a really good stop after scoring a touchdown.
Didn't know that. Yeah.
3rd and 7 in the red zone. 2 missed tackles leads Nebraska to a touchdown instead of field goal. That would have made this a different margin of victory as well. Keanu Benton was also off to a really good start in this game. Keanu Benton, he's basically the Kenny Clark of the Badgers. That's basically what I've begun to identify him as. The Nick Herbig targeting call, like, we have to talk about it. It just annoys the fuck out of me that we have to talk about it. And what annoys me more about it is that he made helmet-to-helmet contact, which is what it is.
Yep.
And I'm totally fine with the 15-yard flag for it because he was sliding. But targeting is supposed to be for launching, and it's like the NBA's flagrant 2 foul. It's supposed to be unnecessary or excessive. Or like the launching upwards, like all of that, or that's what that stuff is supposed to be. That did not look excessive or unnecessary to me. It just ended up being a helmet-to-helmet hit, like an inadvertent type thing. That's where, like I said, I'm fine with the 15-yard penalty because he did make the contact. But there's nothing egregious about that to me that deserves a penalty. And then you go to last week, and Isaac Garendo is going down, gets helmet-to-helmet hit by Campbell of Iowa. Not even a flag, no targeting, fucking nothing. But Herbig gets targeting and ejected for that. Now has to sit out the first half of the Minnesota game. And yes, getting a flag after the touchdown celebration was just a bad thing. The announcers agreed that it's kind of a ticky-tack thing, but that's the rule. So you just got to be a little bit smarter than that. Just wait until he crosses the big white line and then mob him. But
dude, seriously, he has to come back to the same sideline as you. You could have celebrated over there. I get the excitement though. Trust me, I understand it. If anybody in this world's gonna understand, over celebrating, it's gonna be me because I do it all the time. But he's got it. He's got to understand as one of the leaders of this team on the defense as well that and
that's a penalty.
The helmet-to-helmet thing. I was like, okay, well, technically that's the rule, but thinking about the one with Campbell, it's like, think how differently that Iowa Minnesota game goes if he's out the first half. That completely changes that football game.
That dude led with his helmet.
Oh yeah.
And launched at Garendo, who was already going down.
And yeah, defenseless. If you want to talk about defenseless,
cracked helmets.
And Garendo right away was like,
yeah,
I get it.
That's what bothers me more about Herbig getting ejected, honestly.
Yeah.
Was that a week before we saw that? All right. I mean, whatever. Jordan Turner made some really great tackles in this game with 35 seconds left. Turner made a really great tackle on first down. And Bill, that's why you just listen to us, because we're smart. I will say, as far as the announcers go, the dude with RG3, I don't remember his name, calling Ches Melosi all game was really starting to annoy the shit out of me. Like, dude, there's no O's in his name. It's Malusi. That's a U, not an O. It's Malusi, not Melosi. Oh, that was driving me nuts.
Worst part is he touched the ball 21 times, so we had to hear it all game.
I know. God. All right. Anything else you want to throw about the defense?
Nah, I think Wisconsin defense is back. That's what I'll say.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about offense then.
Offense. So
Bill agrees with me.
This team just makes me so mad because I see the potential there with the defense sometimes. They're kind of like the Packers in a lot of ways where like they can add big splash plays,
Yep.
but then they just look lost sometimes, and it just doesn't make sense. I don't think we're very good at schematically getting wide receivers wide open because we have to make a lot of contested catches, and Mertz has to make a lot of really, really good throws, which to credit, we've made a lot of good catches and we made a lot of good throws, but
That's a really good point.
that's just not a formula to compete with big dogs. So I think if one thing has to change, for the remainder of this season, for the next 2 games, because we're probably getting a bowl game, I would like to see a little bit more creativity in the route running. That's all I'm going to say. I do commend them for their toughness with sticking with it, especially, being behind a lot of this game, even though we possess the ball a lot. But I don't have a lot of positive takes, but I do appreciate guys that don't give up and guys that play with heart. That I can appreciate always.
Yeah. I have it written in my notes too. The first quarter play calling was just uninspiring. They didn't take any deep shots in the first quarter. They didn't run any end arounds just like last week. They ran screens on 3rd and 4 and 3rd and 8. That to me is just kind of like you're taking a 1 in 10 chance that it works, that you get blockers out in front of you.
Yeah, right. That's a second down kind of play.
Right.
And then if it doesn't work, then you come with your good play on 3rd down. I agree with that.
Right. And then we got, we had the couple drops. DK and Bell on the second drive had a couple drops. We get the Mertz interception. And then Jake Eschenbach starts getting involved a little bit. We talked about this last week when we were talking about the middle of the field being open. You brought up the middle of the field, and we talked about not having a super big tight end pass catching threat. The Badgers have run out offensive linemen as jumbo tight ends. Like that's how shallow the Badgers are on tight end with 2 guys being injured for the season.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing Jake Eschenbach getting involved a little bit in this game was encouraging. Get into the second half. DK should have had a touchdown. It would have been a tough catch. It was a tough catch, but ball's in your hands. You got to hold on to it. He lost it going to the ground. Like that's gotta be a catch, especially if you want to play in the next level.
Yeah, that would have been a phenomenal catch too.
Yeah, I do think DK is probably going to end up coming back next year.
Yeah,
just because I don't think his NFL prospects are going to be beaten down the door. So if he gets one more season to try to show some more improvement, I think he could be. And then we're looking at potentially Kimray DK, Skylar Bell, and Keontez Lewis as the Badgers' 3 wide receivers next year, and I really like that. Those 3, I think, have a lot of potential. Keontez Lewis is the deep threat guy. Skylar Bell's kind of doing it all because they did get an end around in the second half finally.
Mm-hmm.
And then Skylar Bell almost had a fantastic catch on 3rd and 13, just couldn't quite get the foot down in front of the Nebraska bench.
Yeah.
So close. Oh, so close. And, the announcers were kind of like, he'll get coached on that. They'll teach him, let your legs go dead. Don't try to take that next step. But it is what it is. Then you get the Graham Mertz to Isaac Garendo pass inside the 10-yard line with that. It's a great throw, great catch, great use of Isaac Garendo in that situation.
True.
So, I just want to give credit. We talked about it in the first half. Play calling being a little uninspiring. Getting Isaac Garendo behind the defense, that's good stuff.
Yep.
And then you get the quarterback sneak for the win. That's Sam Cassell, big old balls play call right there.
Yeah, it was.
So that, hey, they don't ask how, they ask how many. Badgers get the win on the road on Nebraska's senior day, just to give a little extra F to the U, and to bring the trophy home again is good.
Yeah, in front of their sellout crowd. God, that is so annoying.
That's funny. That's like I said. You brought up sellout and then showed me a bunch of empty seats, and I'm like, that means that people would really, literally rather not go watch a Nebraska game and waste their money than go watch Nebraska play football.
And people talk about nothing to do in Wisconsin. The fuck is there to do in Nebraska, bro?
Watch the corn girl? I don't know.
For real, that's what I'm saying. Dude, they literally showed the student section, one entire section on the left of my TV was empty. And I'm like, how the fuck is this a sellout?
Matt said announcers have been horrible about pronouncing names lately in all sports. People are still pronouncing Giannis's name wrong. I bet they are. Giannis Antetokounmpo, and you'll get all that. Watch corn grow and wind blow. That's what it is, Bill. That's it. Watch the corn blow in the wind.
I'm not gonna go there. Grow and blow. I'm not in the same sentence. I'm not going there.
Whatever.
Children's episode.
Anything else you want to say about the Badgers and Nebraska before we talk about Badgers and Minnesota?
No, I'm ready for Axe Week, baby.
All right. You want to talk about the Badgers offense or defense first?
Let's start with offense.
All right. So I think it's worth mentioning. Ches Malusi on the offensive side of the ball announced that he is going to return next year. He has got the extra year with the COVID year, so Ches Malusi will be back on the Badgers. But let's go. Let's talk about the offense. What's looking important to you with the Badgers offense?
So I wanted to get the third downs under Leonard because I started tracking them a couple weeks ago and then on the season, and I wanted to correlate them together. Man, it's been a long couple weeks, Matt. By the way, tune in for a Friday night episode if you think that was bad.
And we'll be live tonight too on another show. We're guesting on another show tonight too.
Yes, I'm waiting for that link. I asked them for it. But Wisconsin offense versus Minnesota defense. We averaged 365 total yards, 189 pass, 176 rush, and 27.5 points per game. So third down under Leonard, we are 35 for 82. That is 42.6%. On the season, we are 42.4%. So we're tied for 28th in the country. That's not horrible. I'm okay with that. Like I said, I like our ability to still be able to power run. That's never been a problem at Wisconsin. But I would like a little bit more creativity with the passing game, giving Mertz, because – all right, now I'm going to go on a little tiny tangent. You see all these, Tennessee quarterback Hooker was going crazy. You see CJ Stroud. Like, you see all these stats from all these guys. And then you look at the highlight reel, and, 4 of their 5 touchdowns, the guy's literally wide open with, 30 yards between him and the closest defender. Of course they're going to have 50 touchdowns. Jesus Christ, I could throw 20 if the guys are that wide open. Jesus. I mean, as fast as these guys are, all right, get this guy open. I got to huck it 40 yards. Bet.
That's why when we talked about tight ends during the draft, I'm like, I don't want Jeremy Ruckert. He's not in my top 10. He's the tight end from Ohio State.
Yeah.
Have you heard his name a single time this year?
No, dude, they're always
He's wide open because he plays with Ohio State. He's playing with Chris Olave.
And Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
And Marvin Harrison.
He's wide open for 8 touchdowns.
Of course he is, right. So I just want to point that out with Mertz. Okay, first of all, he's had to make a lot of tough throws. Right. So then the next thing that I'm looking at us, putting us in third and manageable is always an important thing. But imagine if we can get to a 3rd and 4, or even say, a 2nd and 1, and we can cook up a play where DK is running wide open down the sideline. That's going to make Mertz look really, really good. And that's the shit that nobody brings up when they talk about Graham Mertz.
Yeah.
Is how many contested throws he has to make. And DK, how many contested catches he has to make. I'm really hammering on that this week because I really feel like these guys are unfairly scrutinized. And it's not that I'm trying to protect their feelings or anything like that, because all these boomers are going to come out and say all this bullshit, right? But it's just watch the game. You're like, oh, he made a bad throw. Dude, he's had to try to make 25 perfect fucking throws.
Yeah.
How many perfect throws do you think he can make?
16 of them are probably on the run.
Exactly. Come on. We're not watching the same game here. I just want to point out
a lot of it, I'll be honest, I think a lot of it has to do with the team record.
I can see that. Just quickly on Minnesota's defense, real quick. They only give up 25% of third downs. So third downs, they're number 1 in the country. 34 of 133. They've only given up 34 first downs on third down. So, yeah, their defense is balling. That third down is going to be a very, very important stat for this week.
That's a good point. Minnesota's defense, honestly, it's pretty similar to the Badgers. They give up actually similar yards. The
Yes,
rushing yards they give up is like within 5, and the passing yards is within 20. So it's actually really similar to Wisconsin's defense. And for me, essentially, it's the key for the Badgers offense is to vary the play calling. I give Braylon Allen a ton of credit for gutting the game out against Nebraska. But we have 3 capable guys to use in the backfield. We have 3 capable guys on the outside at wide receiver. Varying up who you're going to and how you are going to them, to me, is going to be really important to keeping Minnesota's defense off balance. That being said, for me, the matchup that I'm watching on the Badgers offense is going to be the running back room. If all 3 of them are healthy, which going into this game they are because they're not listed on the injury report, mix them up. Mix them up in playing time and mix them up in the ways that you use them. Like I said in the recap, getting Isaac Garendo on that deep pass, that's great stuff when you have bad play calling in the first half. And then you get to a play like that and it works. That's great stuff. So what is your matchup for the offense?
So my matchup for the offense is Graham Mertz versus Terrell Smith. He is a cornerback, D-back. For Minnesota. He has 32 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 interceptions, and a forced fumble. So I haven't watched a lot of Minnesota Gopher games. I won't lie to you. I'm not going to sit there and force myself to watch the Minnesota team. But looking at the stats, how I would describe this guy is he looks like a playmaker. He's getting in on fumbles. He's getting in on interceptions. He's tackling people. He's sacking the quarterback. This guy seems like he moves around the field. He's all everywhere. Mertz, a guy that can be rushed. And that will speed up his decision-making, which, let's be honest, it's not the best all the time, but I still commend him for his toughness. I think Mertz versus Terrell Smith is going to be a good chess match.
That's good to bring up. I mean, looking at matchups that we've been watching, like Graham Mertz has been on my list probably 8 times this year just because I'm just constantly watching to see if he's getting better. And to see if he's doing good things, even if the Badgers don't win, or even if the play results in a drop. Like some of the throws that Graham Mertz made were good throws, and they just weren't hauled in. So that's why I brought up, if we're talking about it, that the drops, that makes a totally different narrative with Graham Mertz in this game specifically, but over the course of a season. So let's go to the defensive side of the ball. Mo Ibrahim, that's it. That's Minnesota's offense. That's all of their offense. That's literally it. It's Mo Ibrahim more, and then it's a little bit more Ibrahim. And just in case you weren't paying attention to the first 3 times I said it, Minnesota's offense is Mo Ibrahim. That's it.
Yep.
That is it. Period. The dude has 1,524 yards and 19 touchdowns. He has been over 30 carries 4 games in a row.
Bro, he's going to have 300 carries in college.
Oh, God, that's disgusting. That's it. That's their offense. He is their offense. So I'm glad we get to play Minnesota in the last week of the season because now I get to talk more shit about people that have nothing but negative things to say about Graham Mertz. Let's take a look at Minnesota's quarterbacks. Their starter is Tanner Morgan, should he be healthy.
Ass. I'm just going to say it.
He has 7 touchdowns and 5 interceptions in 8 games.
Yeah, he's dookie.
All 7 of his touchdowns came in 3 of those 8. Oof. He has 5 games without a single touchdown. Then you get to his backup. Not even going to say his name because it's longer than the entire show that we've done so far. He has 1 touchdown and 4 interceptions. So combined, Minnesota's quarterbacks have 8 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. And people are saying dumb shit like Graham Mertz is the worst football player in the country when he's got 19 and 9.
Yikes.
The fuck out of here with that. Minnesota's quarterback play has been worse than awful.
That is true.
and people have the audacity to say stuff like Graham Mertz isn't a D3 level quarterback.
Yeah, it's because they're smart, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure. It has nothing to do with personal bias.
No, not at all.
Or an inability to admit that you're wrong about a guy improving, or whatever it is. He had 10 and 11 last year. He has 19 and 9 this year, but he still sucks.
That's a good comment, Matt. It's a good comment. That's probably because people don't consider Minnesota as part of the country. If we could give them to Canada, I would.
Awesome.
That's all I'll say. We will take Toronto. We will take Toronto.
Tell you what, hey, if anybody, Matt, I know you're in Indiana, but if you know anybody in Michigan, tell them we will offer them Minnesota in exchange for the UP. You can have Michigan and Western Michigan. That way you don't have to have Eastern Michigan, Western Michigan, Central Michigan, Michigan, and Michigan State all in the same fucking state.
Right, and it's smaller than our state.
And you can put Western Michigan and Michigan State over in Minnesota and just name it Michigan 2. I don't even give a shit what you name it. Just give us the UP.
You just have more area.
Matt, so I'll get back to you. If anybody from Minnesota is watching our show, they probably just turned it off. Bill's cousin lives in Michigan.
Thank you, Bill.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, what are you looking for from the Badgers' defense against Minnesota's offense besides Mo Ibrahim?
Yeah, Christ almighty. Probably a reason why they're also first on third down percentage on offense. 54.2%. That is fucking ridiculous. 77 of 142. So they have 77 first downs on third down and have only given up 34 first downs on third down. And this team is 7-4. What happened? This is where we say that
they start like 4-0 too.
Yeah, well,
I know they played some cupcakes, but damn.
And then they went on a really big losing streak. But yeah, man, this is where we tell you stats.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I don't know. So then to look at our third down percentage under Leonard, 31 of 91, 34%. That's not bad. I can live with that all day. On the season, we're a total of 32%. So we still got a good third down defense. It's really going to be strength for strength. This game is going to be old-fashioned Big Ten football. It's going to be a bunch of big old farm dudes running into each other, man.
Minnesota happened.
They always show Dude, I saw a freaking post the other day about the Vikings, and it was like the 8-7 Vikings playing the 8-7 Packers at Lambeau Field on New Year's Day is going to be must-watch TV. And I was like, watch it fucking happen, bro. Watch it happen.
That'd be nuts.
Watch it happen. The Vikings start 8-1. They're 8-7 at Lambeau Field for leading the division or something like that. Or the Lions are leading the division or something. I don't know. Something weird's going to happen, I feel like, because it's been a weird year in the NFL.
It has been.
You saw that? Thank you, Matt. I wasn't alone.
I saw it too.
But yeah, Minnesota, Wisconsin, it's going to be some old-fashioned, just big old boys running into each other. Minnesota's going to try to look cool because they have Nike and they try to wear cool helmets. I mean, if you look good and you play bad and you lose, it doesn't really fucking matter. That's all I'm going to say with that.
3 yards in a cloud of dust. It's going to be a game like that.
Yeah.
So let's talk matchups. What matchup are you watching on the Badgers defense? I'm excited for mine.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I really tried to not pick the popular pick. I try so goddamn hard, but I was like, it's just inevitable. This is one of those ones, like Thanos said, I'm inevitable. Front seven versus Mo Ibrahim is exactly what I'm going to be watching. It's going to be your guy, CJ Getz. It's going to be my guy, Njak Meta. It's going to be Jordan Turner. We're going to need all hands on deck. The safeties are going to have to come down and help, I'm assuming. So it's just going to be, I went with just front seven, but we're going to have to contain that guy.
I went with Nick Herbig.
Ooh, second half Nick Herbig?
Second half Nick Herbig.
Okay.
He's going to come back angry in a ground and pound game? Bro, he's going to come out of that halftime tunnel ready to murder somebody. And I've seen the comparisons being made to Jack Sitchie when he had to sit out the first half of the bowl game against USC a couple years ago, and he had 3 sacks in the second half alone.
Okay.
And I'm like, yes, Nick Herbig can do that. I'm so excited to see Nick Herbig come back in the second half, angry, fresh, and just ready to wreck shit. So
Yeah.
Matt said 4 sacks and an interception in the second half. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take 4 sacks and an interception in the first half too. That'd be cool with me.
The Badgers are very fundamentally sound, Bill. To answer your your statement, the Badgers are one of the more fundamentally sound, which is why they always rank high in third downs and yards per game and stuff. So
I will point to Purdue. Hembry, the running back from Purdue, he's a walk-on freshman, but he was like breaking tackles like crazy. And the Badgers, they took care of him pretty well.
mm-hmm.
And that dude's a big runner. The Maryland running back too, I want to say it's Anthony Grant, which is weird because that's the same name as the Dayton head coach. I think it's Anthony Grant. He was averaging like 4.7 yards a carry, and the Badgers held him in check.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mo Ibrahim is better than probably both of those two guys combined, but it's similar play styles, similar offensive mindsets, similar offensive schemes. To look at those guys and then be like, all right, Mo Ibrahim is like the boss level of that video game. But it comes down to Mo Ibrahim. If you stop Mo Ibrahim, you stop Minnesota. And ultimately, when you look at their 4 losses, that's pretty much how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Give me your key to victory. Or do you want to do weather report first, or do you want to do your key to victory first?
We'll do key to victory. We'll do weather report. Then we'll do score prediction. Okay. So my key to victory is come ready to battle, baby. This is Axe week. Last week, that loss fucking hurt. I won't lie. I still think about that game. We were on a massive run going into that game, and it was just like we have all momentum. And this is one where this one feels important for Wisconsin to turn a corner. In the new era that we're calling the Leonard era, this feels like one where it's just like this is where the Badgers went back to being the Badgers, and we've gotten back to playing better team football, and like I said, we're always fundamentally sound, but this feels really, really important, at least in my mind, where it's just like this is the turn the corner moment. Be 7-5, get a better bowl game, bring the Axe back where it fucking belongs, and I feel like be ready to battle and be ready to be physical.
Yeah. So for me, mine kind of ties into that too. Did you see that the Badgers were playing Minnesota jumping around at Camp Randall in the weight room?
What?
They were playing Minnesota was from last year. They were jumping around in Camp Randall during jump around, and they were playing that in the weight room at the Badgers facility.
Those motherfuckers. Just
so like dude, that doesn't make you just want to go at it harder.
Bro, Iowa comes to Wisconsin next year, and I will not forget those motherfuckers playing jump around after they beat us a couple weeks ago. Oh, I want to go to that game so bad because we're gonna give them all the fucking smoke, dude. I can't wait for that one.
So my key to victory is all 4 quarters attack on both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You're at home. Get after it. Get them on their heels on both sides of the ball. Whole game, all 4 quarters, attack. Bring the Axe home.
Yes.
All right. What's the weather going to be like on Saturday?
It's actually going to be a really, really nice day. I'm really excited for it. 50 degrees, wind south-southwest at 6 miles per hour. Real feel 51 degrees. This game is at 2:30 on ESPN, by the way, 2:30 Central Time. Badgers are favored by 3.5. The over-under is 36. I always remember to kind of bring that up. So 2:30 on Saturday. I know it's going to be a nice day out, but pop your ass on the couch and watch the Badgers football kick some Minnesota ass.
All right. Give me your score prediction from the head.
I really don't want either of these to be true because I'll be really mad. But 23-20.
I have 17-14.
Yours is worse. Yours is much worse.
Dude, we said it's going to be ground and pound. This ain't going to be no 33-27 game.
No, it's not.
All right. Give me your score prediction from the heart.
Are you ready for this? I almost pulled a U. 21-20.
Oh, 21-20. I feel like when I do my score predictions, like I try to be as analytic as possible when I do my score prediction from the head, and then from the heart, I look at it as in an ideal world, what is the score going to be, and that reflects. And I said for my heart prediction, 24-12, Minnesota gets no touchdowns, and they get 4 field goals.
Okay. 24-12. Huh. That would be an interesting score. I would enjoy that. I would enjoy that. I would not enjoy your 17-14. I would also not enjoy either.
I feel like that's going to be the kind of game we get.
I know, and it's going to piss me off so much because I already know what to expect.
It's going to be stressful. Just brace for it. Accept it. It's going to be stressful.
Just win the damn game. I cannot. I can't withstand another loss to a Minnesota team. I can't.
Well, yeah, that too. And I just want to end the season on a high note. I'd like to see Graham Mertz throw 69 touchdowns just so people shut the fuck up. But
dude, I almost forgot to bring this up. Hold on, let me go back because I found a 69 randomly. Hold on.
Oh, all right.
The Minnesota turnover plus minus is +3, which is tied for 69th in the country. I saw that and I was like, I gotta write it down. Damn it!
That's going in the notes. Yep. All right. Cool.
It's gotta happen. Sorry.
All right. Is there anything else you want to say about Badgers football besides win and bring the Axe home?
Nah, man. Let's go. Let's do it.
All right. Let's get a better bowl game than the OnlyFans Bowl.
It's coming, dude.
Pun intended. Oh my God, we're getting canceled. Fuck.
Oh, no, we're not. We're the best.
Oh, that was funny. Our show isn't scripted either, so that just happened.
No, it just happens. I don't know what to tell you.
Nobody can say that our show isn't entertaining. All right, let's jump into the Bucks. Our last segment of the day, and Matt's having fun. Matt's laughing with us, not at us. Maybe he's laughing at us. I don't know.
I don't really care at this point.
All right, so let's do our Bucks power pair, an underrated performer. Give me your power pair. Bill said, "Gotta go, guys. Go Bucky. Go Pack. Hey, and go Bucks."
Yes,
go Bucks. The Bucks play the Bulls tonight, so I'll get into that. Let's do power pair.
You're laughing at me, Tim? You son of a bitch. So my power pair, it's gonna be crazy, but I have a little bit of Nwora bias this week, so I actually put him in my power pair to be honest with you.
I don't have Drew Holiday or Giannis in my power pair.
Either do I. I have Nwora and Brook Lopez.
I also have Brook Lopez.
Brook Lopez was a shoo-in. After the Cavs game, it was like, come on in. Well, and then in the Blazers game, he had 5 blocks? So I mean that helps too.
He had 4 blocks in the 76ers game too.
Yeah, and 3 of them on Embiid, but we'll talk about that later.
Nwora,
I think Nwora took a step forward this week. He played really, really well. Yeah, he is. He was pretty good. He was taking.
That's a good way to put it.
I think his shot selection was better. I think his defensive positioning was a little bit better. I agree with you that he still is a little bit more turnover prone, but he was hustling and running down rebounds this week. Yep. So that's something that I appreciate. I gotta be honest though. I hate his hair, and I complained about people talking about his hair, but dude, how does his hair stick up here and then still go down here? It doesn't physically make sense to me, I guess. I don't know. But he averaged 11 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. He shot 50% from the field and 57% behind the arc, 8 of 14. So that was very, very good. Yeah, he is playing scrappy. I agree with that. That's a good way to describe it.
Brook Lopez is pretty similar, honestly. He averaged 19 points on the week, 5 rebounds, 4 blocks. He was 56.8% from the field and 57.9% from 3. His hair is nowhere bad as Trae Young's. You mean the Tootsie Pop dropped on the floor haircut? Yeah, you don't like that one?
It's not as bad as that, but it just doesn't make sense to me.
My other one is Bobby Portis, actually. I brought it up last week that I'd like to see Bobby Portis start to bounce back. I believe that he would. That he had kind of a struggling start to the season shooting wise, but he did better in the last week. And in addition to his 14.7 points and 9 rebounds, over the last 3 games, Bobby Portis averaged 3 assists per game.
Ooh, he was passing the ball really well.
It's going to come up in the Trailblazers game.
I went back and forth between Grayson Allen and George Hill. And again, the George Hill thing is, outside of him actually playing well and throwing good passes, it's kind of despite, our fans of the same team. Because we like to do that. We like to be petty. But I wanted to give a shout out to Grayson Allen, who I thought has been pretty good this week. Yep. I love, there was a sequence in the Blazers game where, was it the Blazers game? It might have been the 76ers game. I'm not sure. My games are all going together now. But he had the ball, passed it. When the ball went to 4 different people and it ended up back in Grayson Allen's hands, he shot a 3 and made it. And I was like, Grayson moving without the ball, starting that ball movement, that's fantastic. And I want to talk about that Blazers game.
Out of the corners of your eyes.
I really want to talk about the Blazers game because I have a lot of shit to say about that game. But that's the third game.
Get there. We will get there. Run
through
the Cavs and 76ers games kind of quick. I'm assuming you went with George Hill as your underrated performer.
Yeah, I ended up with George Hill.
All right, let me finish on Bobby Portis real quick. He shot 40% from the 3-point line, 59% on field goals, and then George Hill. Matt, people are still saying George Hill sucks because they haven't moved on from last year's playoffs. George Hill over the last week, 4.75 points, averaged a steal, averaged 3 assists himself, and also just shy of 3 rebounds. For a dude who's not playing a lot. And for a dude who didn't score 2 nights ago against the Trailblazers, also had 5 assists, 5 rebounds, a block, and 2 steals. Like, man, that's an underrated performer on a platter for you. Like, we couldn't give you much more of like what an underrated performer is than a guy who scores 0 points and still makes a big impact on the box score.
Agreed.
But that's what George Hill did against the Trailblazers. So let's start with the Bucks and Cavaliers game from last Wednesday. I'm impressed with the Bucks in this game. Yeah. They came out no Drew Holiday to go against 2 all-stars in the backcourt and have a rookie MarJon Beauchamp who deserves a big scoop of credit for this game. He guarded both of them at times with Drew Holiday out. They did both score 23 points. However, on a combined 15 of 39 shooting, that's 38.5%. If those 2 guys are going to score 46 points for you combined, when either one of them could give you that themselves on 38.5% field goal shooting, give me that all day.
100%.
Not to mention the experience that MarJon Beauchamp got to derive from that by guarding Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland and all of the screens that he's got to work through. Like, I guarantee that's something that Drew Holiday is teaching MarJon Beauchamp how to do because Drew Holiday is so damn good at getting through screens. But MarJon Beauchamp, he got a ton of experience on working through screens in this game. But what are some things that stood out to you from this game?
So I'm going to run through a couple sequences, impact stuff that I wanted to talk about. There's a fun one for my second one that I was just like, wow. But I want to talk about my first one is Mitchell was on fire in the first, right? He was absolutely on fire in the first quarter. I think he had 16 of his 18 in the first half in the first quarter, if I'm not mistaken. And I love, this was early in the second quarter that Bobby Portis comes out and he's overplaying the screen. And he's basically saying, like, Mitchell, we're not going to give you an easy catch. We're going to make you work to get this goddamn ball now because you're kicking our ass. So he plays high and is denying the pass. I don't remember the Cavs player. Just throws the ball without even looking because he's just like, oh, Donovan's over there. I'm just going to throw the ball. Yeah. Ends up getting the steal and the slam. And this is one of those plays where we talk about winning plays. This is a winning play because I feel like it set a defensive tone. And that is something that needed to happen in this game. After Donovan Mitchell came back down to earth because he was apparently on a different planet in the first quarter, we ended up whooping their ass a little bit, in my opinion.
I'm going to touch on that a little bit.
113-98. We kicked them around a little bit.
I'm really glad you brought up that defensive standard point. That's really good stuff to bring that up. I'm going to talk about third quarters specifically a little bit later, but for the Cavaliers to score 37 in the first quarter and only 38 in the entire second half, that's a great first half to second half adjustment, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
that's Before you go on your tangent here, that's for all the people that talk shit on Bud. That's all I'm gonna say.
And when it gets to the third quarter, when we talk about like the week as a whole, it correlates well. So, but the other thing with this game for me, Brook Lopez, he looks so comfortable. Seeing him catching, and he's bouncy. He looks spry, like he's shooting with confidence. He's got the bounce back in his step. He finished 10 of 13 and 7 of 9 on threes with 3 blocks in this game.
Yeah, he was fucking hooping, bro.
Bobby Portis had another double-double, 10 points and 11 rebounds. Fundamental failures from this game, total of 34. They missed 12 free throws. A lot of that, unfortunately, is on Giannis. 16 points off turnovers. That's still something the Bucks, I've been, ever since we started this show, turnovers is something I want to see the Bucks bring down. 6 second chance points.
That's
6. That's fantastic. To only allow 6 second chance points. That is perfect. What's the other thing that stood out to you from this game before I kind of run through a couple other things?
So my next play was an alley-oop. And when you say alley-oop,
it's your guy. It's your guy.
You're thinking Giannis, right? And rightfully so. But this one was the Jordan Nwora, who was
George Hill.
He was hooping in this game, by the way.
Bro, all right, real quick, on your point of this alley-oop. George Hill, like, he did this. He's like slapped and stripped the ball away. That's just great awareness by George Hill. And then obviously he did the hoop.
Honestly, Carter's really good at that too for a smaller guy.
Oh yeah, attacking the ball
really
down. Oh yeah,
he's got really good hands. So don't bring the ball down. And then you got Giannis in there and Brooks. I mean,
don't bring the ball up either. Don't bring the ball up or down.
That literally, when you get in the paint, if you bring the ball down, that's the point of no return against Milwaukee. I'm just gonna declare that right now, because you're either getting slapped out by a guard or you're getting blocked by one of our guys.
Or you're trying to throw a ball over a forest of trees.
Right. So. This play, the ball gets knocked out. Carter gets it, gives it back to Hill, and Hill finds streaking Nwora for a lob. And when I tell you that I jumped up from my couch, I said, "Holy shit, bro! I didn't know he could do that shit." I literally said that. I said, "I didn't know he could do that shit." He just catches that shit and throws it down. I was hyped, bro. And I want to say that court was fucking beautiful with those jerseys, man.
Oh yeah,
that was beautiful. Like the blue. I can't say enough good things, but it was beautiful, dude. Honestly, I was impressed. I am gonna miss the black court with the Bucks logo in the paint though, because I'm pretty sure they're gonna get rid of that. But
they might bring it back for the statement edition jerseys, the black with the antlers.
That would be sick. I don't
know how many alternate courts they're gonna hold on to, but
I mean, they already got it made, so why not? But the blue core with the blue jerseys. I was nice. Like, "Ooh, boy, we on fire today." And Jordan Nwora, he took the look good, feel good, play good shit to a whole nother level. 21. He was 5 and 9 from 3, a steal and a block. I mean, sheesh. And 1 lob. I literally did not know that he could do that. I thought he did not go inside the 3-point line.
He did, but he's got floater game, is what it is.
True.
So he's never going to the paint looking to dunk on somebody. He's looking for floater game.
Bro, he yammed that shit, and I was just hype as fuck. I was like, "Oh my goodness."
So the other couple of things I want to throw out: Javon Carter, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks. George Hill, 7 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Serge Ibaka, 9 points and 4 rebounds. We got 2 Serge Ibaka dunks in this game.
Yeah, we
Twice
did.
He pump faked the 3-point line, drove straight to the rim, and threw it down. It's like, damn, we got the young version of Serge Ibaka too. Sweet.
He plays hard yet, so I respect that about him.
For Serge Ibaka to give you 9 points and 4 rebounds, and George Hill to give you 7, 3, and 3 from the 8th, 9th, 10th-ish rotation guys on your bench, like, give me all that every day.
Agreed.
And then I just want to give a real quick Mike Budenholzer credit. Cleveland cut the lead to 100-91 with 7 minutes and 20 seconds left. The Bucks had been up 17 at one point in the fourth quarter. 7 minutes, 20 seconds left. Budenholzer calls timeout. Cleveland only scores 7 points for the rest of the game.
Whew.
7 points over the last 7 minutes and 20 seconds.
And we were getting worried.
That's why you wait till the game's over.
Exactly.
Basketball's a game of runs. Cleveland did not go on another run after that.
Exactly.
All right. So let's get into the 76ers game. Weird game. So the Bucks missed 13 free throws, which again is a lot on Giannis. Again, only 6 second chance points and only 8 points off turnovers for a total of 27. So the Bucks played pretty fundamentally sound in this game, but this game is a game of efficiency. So field goal percentages, Milwaukee 45.6, Philadelphia 51.3. 3-point percentages, Milwaukee 33.3, Philadelphia 46.4. Free throw percentage, Milwaukee 38, Philadelphia 65. So the Bucks played fundamentally, but not efficiently. What stood out to you in this game?
So this ended up being one of those games. Okay, before I get into it, I got to talk about this in my notes. I wanted to talk about the headline on the ESPN app. So if you go on the ESPN app and you go on the Bucks or 76ers game that happened on Friday, and there'll be a little article written about the game. It literally says the shorthanded 76ers. And I didn't read the rest of it, but I was like, why the fuck are they the only ones shorthanded? We're not shorthanded?
Yeah. Only thing I can say is that they lost Maxey halfway through this game.
I know, but
I mean,
we didn't play Drew Holiday the whole first quarter. Drew Holiday only played 3 quarters in this game, technically. We don't have our second best player. It just makes me mad that they're shorthanded.
Well, it's all narrative.
So that bothered me. I'm just gonna say that.
That's probably like the third or fourth thing that bothered me about this game.
And then you get into this ended up being one of those games where Joel Embiid started making jump shots in the fourth quarter, and it's just like, all right, if that's the shot we're giving up, and people are going to complain about how Brook is guarding him, but Brook is protecting the paint, and Embiid is definitely a guy that can control a game by getting into the paint and getting you into foul trouble or finishing at the rim or both, right? So to hold him out of the paint and make him make jumper, if he makes those, it is what it is. You live with it.
On that point, like I have this written down as well. The Bucks are usually really good at keeping Embiid farther out. They usually keep him on the 3-point line. That's where I live with Joel Embiid. When you get him 2-3 steps inside of that and you're giving him mid-range, that's where I'm like, all right, we got to get a little bit closer to him.
I agree with that. Matt, there's nobody on the Sixers that's second tier that is close to Chris Middleton. Nobody. Maxey's good. He's still coming into his own, but he's not Chris Middleton. That's where I'm going to leave that.
Harden?
No.
Let me just put it to you this way.
No, because Chris Middleton plays both ends of the court.
Right. I was going to say, would you take Tyrese Maxey and James Harden or Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton?
Oh, I'm taking Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton all day. They play both ends of the court. They both can be playmakers. They both can be shooters. Where I love Maxey is the second best player on that team. Fucking miss me with James Harden. I'm serious about that. I actually believe that. Fucking miss me with James Harden. I don't give a shit. If James Harden is nothing on defense. Nothing.
I was gonna say, you put it to you this way: if Tyrese Maxey had James Harden's usage rate, would you think it would? Yes, Tobias Harris too, but he's honestly become a non-factor for.
I mean, we were missing Pat Connaughton too. So I mean, Pat Connaughton, Tobias Harris. I mean, the money doesn't add up, but for what Pat does for our team, shooting shots, getting extra possessions, and allowing us to play a lot of variations of lineups, pretty fucking important. Same thing with what Tobias Harris basically does for the 76ers. He allows you to play a lot of different lineups and spreads the floor, but he's just paid $1 bazillion.
Yeah. Korkmaz you're only bringing up Korkmaz because he only plays good against the Bucks.
You know what, Matt? I'm starting to get pissed off now. You son of a bitch.
They still had Georges Niang, who is also a Bucks killer. So they still
I hate that guy, dude. Every time he plays us, that son of a bitch has 20 points. Why?
Because he makes 6 out of 7 threes.
And then he'll have 20 points. Same way. He'll have 20 points the next 4 games combined. It's like, this makes no sense. Yeah, whatever.
Royce O'Neal's the same way. He'll make 7 out of 9 threes against us and then 7 out of his next 90.
It is what it is. I
like Royce O'Neal, though, except when he plays against the Bucks.
That was still bullshit that they said they're shorthanded 76ers. Like, we don't have fucking injuries too. And again, we didn't play Drew Holiday for a quarter. So we only got 3/4 of Drew Holiday, and he wasn't in a rhythm at all.
Right.
Yeah, this game, the first play that I wanted to talk about is really a series of events that happened. Is Brook Lopez amazing defense inside of Embiid. I mean, he made Embiid look small a couple times. I won't lie. And Embiid is a massive human being.
Oh, yeah.
We are going to get into it because it's my second play, and I want to talk about it. Embiid's cheap shot on Giannis. I want your opinions on it first. So I want to know what you think.
Real quick, I just want to address Matt. If Giannis makes his free throws, we win. Giannis would have to have made all of his free throws. The Bucks lost this game by 8. I think Giannis missed 9 free throws.
Yep, he was 4-15.
Oh, so okay, so he missed 11. I mean, that's a little unfair to expect Giannis to make 12 of 15 free throws, especially when he's struggling. And I listened to the Point Forward podcast. It's the Bucks podcast from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Jim Ozworski had a really good point on it too. A potential thought, and I think it's valid to bring up, is that Giannis has been coming off of a knee injury that cost him 3 games. So if that's potentially been affecting his free throw shooting, because when you go to bend your knees while you're shooting your free throws, if you bend down and you're thinking like, oh, I just got a sharp pain in my knee instead of focusing on your free throw, like that could be affected. I'm not trying to give an excuse for Giannis because he still needs to be better and he still needs to make those.
Yep.
But it's really easy to say, oh, Giannis missed 11 free throws and we lost by 8. So,
True.
We also win this game if Joel Embiid gets properly ejected.
Yeah.
There is not a single damn thing you can tell me that is redeeming about that play that Joel Embiid made that tells me that that's not excessive or unnecessary. Because we discussed this with Nick Herbig, who was tossed from a game for doing something that I don't believe was unnecessary and excessive. And then you get to Joel Embiid throwing a literal fucking elbow into Giannis's side.
Bro, he threw his whole upper body.
Hold on. Because if Joel Embiid did that to Joel Embiid, he'd still be on the ground rolling around.
True.
But because he did it to Giannis, who's a fucking unit, he got away with it, which is bullshit. Because if Joel Embiid gets ejected at that point of the game, the 76ers do not win that game because Embiid was their closer. He made a ton of mid-range shots after that in a game he should have been kicked out of. And I don't cheer for players to get injured, but Joel Embiid got his karma, and now he's going to miss a week with a bad ankle. That's bullshit that he did not get kicked out of that game. It's honestly flagrant for him stopping and sticking his knee and hip out right in front of Giannis. But to me, it's the elbow. Throwing that elbow out, awful. Like, there's just no integrity from that. How do you try to justify that to a referee? Like Tim just said, he argued about the call. How? How do you throw an elbow at somebody and be like, no, I shouldn't even get into a flagrant 1? You should be in the fucking locker room.
You should be taking a shower right now, buddy.
Dude, it's just disrespectful. Like, we're going to get into the post-game shit. That's all disrespectful, too. But to throw an elbow into somebody, like, just have some fucking class. And it doesn't surprise me that this shit all happened in Philadelphia.
And then, so here's my view on it. First of all, Embiid, you're a piece of shit. I hate you now. There was nowhere near a play on the ball. That was not at all a basketball play. Like at the end of the day, when you're calling these flagrant fouls and you're looking at it, and I don't know how the refs can go in there and be like, yep, he made a play on the ball. Like, dude, that was not a fucking basketball play at all. The entire thing. He literally just stood there as Giannis was barreling down and went, bah, with everything he had, too. He is a massive human being. The Sixers organization lacks class like the Vikings. And, yeah, that's a conversation that I will be having on Friday probably. So we'll talk about that on Friday. But, yeah, I have something on that.
All right. So I'm just going to run through just some of the stuff. Bobby Portis, 21 and 11. 9 of 13 shooting. Like I said, I've been waiting for a game like this for him to really break out. Brook Lopez had 4 blocks in this game. The other thing I want to say is that PJ Tucker cannot hold Giannis. He can't defend Giannis. PJ Tucker anymore. Can't hold him. So now this is such a stupid fucking thing that we even have to talk about this. We have to talk about all the stuff that happened after the game.
Yeah.
Because you want to talk about lacking class? Philadelphia, be better. Just be better. The fact that Montrezl Harrell literally came out to take Giannis's ball away, and then Giannis had to go find a different ball, and like the arena staff went to start doing whatever they were doing. People were like, "Oh, they're taking down the court." It's like, why do they need a ladder in front of the hoop then? So there's that. And then like, oh, people just want to get the arena done and go home. It's like, there's still fans on the sideline. Who are you telling all the arena people are going to leave before the fans are gone?
Dude, that was going to be my point. Dude, I saw a video of a fan fucking recording it. There's no, fuck that.
Like, dude, you're telling me the arena people are trying to get out of there while there's still a whole bunch of fans along the sidelines and in the stands? Like, just tell me that you're biased towards your side of this argument without telling me that you're biased to this side of the argument. And the fact that Montrezl Harrell is out there working out on the other side of the court, and then you're going to be like, oh, the arena people want to get out of there. That guy's down there doing his thing. And Bobby Portis talked about this to multiple reporters, that it's a professional courtesy that wherever you are, this is literally only a problem in Philadelphia and probably in Boston, are probably the only two places where this is a problem for a guy to go get work in after a game. Only places. Because Nathan Marzian, he brought up that he asked some of the former Bucks people that worked at Fiserv Forum. They were told to help opposing players who were coming to work out after games. Because it's a common thing that guys go out there and they work on stuff that didn't go well, or guys that don't play a lot go out and work after the games so that they have a workout in for that day because they don't practice on game days. The Celtics did it. I guess I was hearing reports that the Celtics were doing it during the Bucks series in the playoffs last year. Guys that weren't playing were going out and running line drills after the games. Like, just have a professional courtesy. I get that Philadelphia and the Bucks have kind of a rivalry going on now, but haven't faced each other in the playoffs. And if they did, the Bucks would wash them away.
We would molly
those little dudes. Dude, we would wax them in a 7-game series. To not even have the class and courtesy to be like, all right, you're a dude who's in the same league as me trying to get better, and not realize that can affect you too, that Giannis being better brings more attention to the NBA, and if you go and stop Giannis, like Embiid blocked Giannis at the rim, Giannis got him back at the rim, but doing stuff like that against a guy who's getting better, all that does is just bring more attention to the NBA, makes it easier for you to get paid, like all that stuff. Mm-hmm. It also makes you not look like a dick anywhere you go. Like Montrezl Harrell, anywhere you go, like, sorry, you're known as a dick. You're a dick.
Yep. I agree.
What are your thoughts on this? Because, when it comes to the ladder thing, like, I get that it's not a good look for Giannis to push the ladder over and it tipped over. He did ask twice for them to move it.
So, the great Montrezl Harrell is averaging 0.5 points and 0.5 rebounds in 2 games against the Bucks this year.
So,
the guy doesn't even average a point in a rebound.
Play working out after the games.
Philly has to offer free chicken. Fucking A, they do. Giannis, and Giannis is the man of the people. He gave them free chicken twice now. So I'll just say that. Montrezl Harrell wanted to talk about respect. He made a tweet talking about respect. And the thing that really makes me mad about that is he went out there and and like Giannis said, he basically bullied him to get off of that hoop. Took his basketball, made the 76ers employee tell him, like, there's nothing I can do. It's out of my hands. Giannis went and got another basketball. So now he still has 2. So he can have continuous shots. I get it. But then the workers are in the way. And he asked nicely, and I'm sure it wasn't as nice as I'm saying, but he was like, hey, I'm trying to shoot free throws here.
You could see him go like this a couple times.
And then he even moves the ladder one time. For that guy to have the balls to move that ladder in front of Giannis out of Antetokounmpo again, okay, maybe maybe his brain is as big as a nut, because Jesus Christ, how stupid are you? All he wanted to do was shoot free throws. And this is the last point I'm going to make about this is Montrezl Harrell, like I said, wanted to talk about respect. But then when he's talking to Thanasis, and Thanasis is not being over the top or excitable at all. Confrontational. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you very much, my smart friend.
Yep.
For him to be like, oh, I'll beat your ass. Fuck around and find out.
And then do
like,
this.
You want to talk about respect?
And wave him off twice.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, if the Antetokounmpos would have teamed up, they would have whooped his ass.
Bro, I think Thanasis straight up over Montrezl Harrell.
I know, but both brothers are getting in on it. I think Thanasis too, but you know if Thanasis is in it or if Giannis is in it, the other one's coming. That's how they're going to be.
Bobby Portis was talking about it too. He's like, I wish I was in the game when Embiid threw that elbow.
Bro, and then, oh man, dude, this team doesn't take shit, bro. We got Bobby, right? Like, and then we got Serge Ibaka who was mixing it up this week. I mean, come on, man. All I'm saying is let's get into a scrap fight with the Bucks because we'll whoop your ass.
And still be classier than you at the end of the day.
Man, I just can't believe that he was the one talking about respect, you know?
He deleted that tweet too. Did you see that?
Yeah,
he made that post about respect or whatever, and then he deleted the tweet.
Yeah, because he's a bitch, because he knows that he can't stand on that shit. That's right.
All right. Anything else you want to say about 76ers game?
I hope that we play them in the second round so that we can have 2 easy rounds in a row. Because if we get the Bulls in the first round,
a playoff series against the 76ers. They are not deep enough to mess with the Bucks, and Embiid is not built for a 7-game series against the same team.
Bro, and that flopping shit does not work in the playoffs.
It definitely doesn't.
So if he's going to do that flopping shit and get owned by Brook Lopez for, I don't know, maybe 5 games, I'll say, that would be much.
If Embiid and Brook Lopez are, say, to cancel each other out, and then you're looking at the big 3 versus James Harden and Tyrese Maxey. Good luck getting that series to 5.
You know what? When we were talking before and I was talking about injuries, I honestly didn't even consider James Harden. And I know that he's had some really good games for them, but I just don't respect. I have zero respect for his game. I just don't respect.
I agree. You know that already about me.
I don't. So I don't think he's on Chris's level. I really don't. I mean, he's a good playmaker and he can make some shots, but he doesn't play defense and he's not willing to give to the team, you know?
Here's what I'll say about James Harden. His name is now bigger than his game.
Yeah, he's definitely become one of those guys.
For his last 3-ish years in Houston and for a chunk of his time in Brooklyn, his game was still bigger than his name. And the end of his tenure in Brooklyn and everything he's done in Philly so far, his name is bigger than his game. I
agree with that.
All right. Let's go to Monday's game, Bucks and Blazers. We get back on a winning level. Only 9 missed free throws in this game. It's a little bit better. Only 9 second chance points for the Trailblazers. 20 points off turnovers. That's turnovers got to come down. That's 38 fundamental failures. It's the points off turnovers, the one that really skewed it. But Pat Connaughton is back against his former team. So let's talk about the Bucks and the Trailblazers.
Yeah, so the first thing I wanted to talk about, because me and you were texting during this game, is the ball movement was fucking It was, you know? And everybody was moving the ball. Everybody was touching it. Everybody was engaged. People are cutting. People are getting dunks. This was a fucking phenomenal, fun game to watch the entire time. The Bucks shot 55% in this game, and that is all predicated on the ball movement, in my opinion.
Sure.
Also, Giannis becoming Giannis in the second half and basically owning that entire third quarter. But, you know, so I'm just going to talk about my 2 plays really, really quickly because they're real quick. First of all, I always still get amazed at every Giannis dunk. He fucking Euro stepped into a fucking body to body, dude. That's just that's ridiculous. That's unfair. And everybody dunks on Nurkic. I get it, but I don't give a shit. Dude, it is because he's a big guy, but he's soft. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And then play 2, Nwora. I wanted to give him a shout out for his hustle, running down a big offensive rebound near half court, and then flinging the pass right away to Drew Holiday for easy assist.
That was a good pass.
That was a good pass. That was great hustle by him, and he was paying off.
Good one.
I think it got Drew going a little bit. Drew played much better in this game than he did in the 76ers game. So just wanted to say those two things. And Giannis was 5 of 12. So he had 7 of them as free throws.
Yeah. The other pass that I wanted to bring up was Bobby Portis. He gets to the block, and he around a dude, like down the baseline, zings a chest pass to Grayson Allen for a 3. That was beautiful. You mentioned Drew Holiday. I just want to throw out there that he was defending Jeremy Grant for a big chunk of this game.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Grant's a power forward, and he's out here being guarded by Drew Holiday.
That's why I said Drew Holiday is better than Marcus Smart on defense.
Oh,
he guards everybody, bro.
Damn. Drew Holiday's so underrated, it's ridiculous.
Fucking A.
So the two things that I want to put out from this game is Giannis in the paint. First half, down the lane, cut, gets a big dunk, gets a huge tip slam. Like, I watched it like 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
The tip slam that he had, because it was just so emphatic, and I love plays like that.
Crazy.
And then gets a run out off of a steal in the second half. Had an oop from Drew Holiday. Whenever a defender is fronting Giannis, like Drew Holiday and Giannis just know, like, all right, Drew's going to throw it to the rim, and if it's Javon Carter throwing the pass, he's just going to throw the ball into the rim. So, Giannis scored 37 points in this game, 24 points in the paint. I don't care that Giannis doesn't have a jump shot. If that dude can score 24 points only in the paint, I don't care that he doesn't have a jump shot. Don't care. Don't care. Doesn't need one. Doesn't need one.
I agree.
So,
although he was hitting jumpers in this game.
He did hit some mid-range.
And that's when I told you, I said, it doesn't fucking make sense that he can make mid-range, turn around mid-range, pull up mid-range.
Bro,
but he misses.
He made a Dirk fade from a step above the free throw line. He literally did a 1-foot Dirk Nowitzki fade away.
Yeah, did you
and
hear?
And then he did the too little.
Did you hear Marcus Johnson?
So wrong for that.
He said, "Shades of Dirk Nowitzki." He was going crazy, bro.
Oh man,
he did, man.
So my other thing was Drew Holiday's fourth quarter. 13 of his 17 points came in the fourth quarter. He scored the first 9 Bucks points in the fourth quarter. And one of them was like a step back that he had to take late in the shot clock from like behind the backboard.
Mm-hmm.
That's apparently his spot.
Yeah, dude, it's ridiculous.
Why? That's nasty. So Bobby Portis finished with 5 points or 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Grayson Allen, to your point about him potentially being an underrated performer, 17 points and 8 rebounds. 8 rebounds is a lot for Grayson Allen.
Mm-hmm.
So Brook Lopez, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 5 blocks. And then I mentioned George Hill, scoreless, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, a block, and 2 steals. And then Drew Holiday finished with 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists. So is there anything else you wanted to say about that game before we just kind of touch on the weekly stuff?
No. I just think the Bucks played well. I think Anfernee Simons is going Simons. He's going to be really, really good. He's a smooth athlete, smooth shooter. He's going to be a very, very good player.
Yep.
I would like to see the fully healthy Blazers versus the fully healthy Bucks. I think that'd be a very, very exciting game. Not that this wasn't.
I'd like to see the fully healthy Bucks, period. That's a scary thing for the league, is that the Bucks aren't their best at the same time and don't have Chris Middleton and Joe Ingles. That's another thing. Like, this Bucks team that is 12-4, right? 12-4.
Yep.
About to get Chris Middleton. You're literally about to add an all-star to a 12-4 team.
Eek.
And then you're going to add a 6th man of the year candidate to say a 30-12 team.
Man. Yeah, this team's about to be disgusting by the end of the season, man.
Yeah. So what are some things that stood out to you on the week as a whole? And then I will give a couple, and we'll talk about what's coming up.
So I talked last week, and yes, I agree with that, Matt. And Pat and Drew are out of rhythm coming back from injury. I did say that Drew played a little bit better in this Blazers game, but Pat first game back. I'm not going to talk about rhythm yet. I did talk last week talking about how the Bucks were getting pushed around a little bit. I feel like they were being out physical in a few of the games. I feel like they responded and they played tougher. I still love Brook Lopez. I missed this Brook Lopez. I think I've come to a realization that I missed him. And we talk all the time about appreciating things while we have it. I don't think I appreciated Brook Lopez enough when he was hitting 187 threes in a season, which is still third most in Bucks history. I didn't appreciate him enough, and I'm going to appreciate him now. So I just wanted to give a shout out to my man Brook.
That's good stuff. For me, two things stood out. One of them was the third quarter, and the other one was defense. So third quarter in these games, 18 against Cleveland. They get a W. Like I said, they only scored 38 points in the second half, which is just fantastic.
Yep.
Philadelphia scores 34 in the third quarter. Philadelphia wins that game. And then 18 again against Portland, and the Bucks win that game. So the Bucks only allowed 18 points in 2 of the 3 third quarters that they played last week, and coincidentally got wins in both of them. And then defense. Are you ready for some juicy stats?
Yes.
All right. So the Bucks defense. Let's get into this. Bucks are third in blocks per game, 6.5. Brook is still leading the way. He's now second in the NBA per game. Miles Turner has only played 11 games, and he's got 33 blocks. But Brook Lopez has 44 blocks and is averaging 2.75 blocks per game. The Bucks are 5th in defensive rebounding percentage. The Bucks are 4th in opponent points per game.
Oh, wow.
They are 2nd in opponent field goal percentage. 12th in opponent three-point percentage, which I think is worth mentioning because that's not bad considering they were one of the worst in the league last year. So I will take 12th in opponent three-point percentage, especially if you're adding in that they're 2nd in opponent field goal percentage total. Last one, number 1 in defensive efficiency.
Yeah. I believe all of that. I really do.
Give me all of that.
Yeah, I agree. Wait until they get the spacing from Ingles and Middleton. Just wait. This team's going to be disgusting, dude. God, if I had to pick an early season matchup that I'd want to see in the finals from the West, it's not the Jazz. The Jazz will flame out, in my opinion. I don't know who's been really good. I've watched a lot of Pelicans games, actually. Pelicans are exciting to watch.
I think I'd say Denver.
Denver?
I like Denver. Like, I respect Denver. Like, Dallas is good. They kind of have our number a little bit, but
Dallas, that'd be interesting because Luka can literally just control every single game. Kind of like Giannis, but Luka literally has the ball every fucking play on offense.
That dude's usage rate is insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He played like 38 minutes a game.
Yeah, so it's no wonder he like has a bazillion 30-point games and 40-point games. He has the fucking ball all game, right? I don't know who I'd pick, but right now
I actually like Denver, so I don't know that I'd want to beat them in a finals and be like, yeah, suck it, Denver.
I want to beat them all. Oh, if I had to pick somebody I want to beat, definitely the Warriors, because people were saying that we wouldn't have beat the Warriors last year. I think
I'd love to beat the Clippers. Clippers is a good one. I'd love to beat the Clippers. Just because people are like, oh, the Clippers. It's like, yes, they're fantastic.
Bro.
On paper.
Bro, and how uninspiring are their fucking alternate jerseys? They're like black. They're like black with a line. And then they're like black with a squiggly side. Like, what?
Dude, like the Bulls City Edition uniforms.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, don't tell anybody. We just grabbed Bulls uniforms from 2006 and we're like, here.
Right?
Sir, there's nothing creative about that. I don't care.
Dude, the Bulls are bad. That's a bad one.
All right. Anything else you want to throw out about the Bucks?
Nah. Talking about the Bulls, we get to whoop that ass tonight.
Yeah, so we get to watch the Bulls lose to the Bucks tonight. The Bucks play Cleveland on Friday and they play Dallas on Monday. So I kind of just mentioned Dallas, but for those games, they're all at home. So because of that reason, I I will say the Bucks go 3-0 in their next 3 games.
God, I don't want to count out Luka. We're beating the Bulls tonight, so I know that's happening.
Yep.
I'll say 3-0. I'll say 3-0. I'm with it.
I'm going to tell you this now. When we play at Dallas, I'm picking Dallas to win, unless Luka's out. But
I will see. I don't know. I'm gonna wait till that time. I'm not.
Right.
Maybe Giannis is on fire. Maybe he's on like a 5-game.
I'm not saying the Bucks can't beat Dallas, but like I said, Dallas has the Bucks number, especially in.
Oh
Dallas.
yeah. We suck there. Kind of like we used to suck in Phoenix.
Yeah, and Utah.
Shit.
Matt said he's going to the game on Friday. Yeah, I hope you get a good game to watch. I mean, they're going to play Cleveland, so it'll be a fun game no matter what. The Suns have become an insufferable team. I'm not even going to get into that one.
It kind of feels like the NBA is trying to force the Suns on us because they have CP3 and Booker and Booker. Yeah. I feel like they're trying to force the Suns on us, kind of like they do with the Knicks and the Lakers, and that's what kind of makes them insufferable. Like, don't force us to watch them. We don't want to watch them.
It's like that meme from Bird Box where the guy is holding the chick's eyes open, and it's like, this is the NBA to New York and LA, even when their teams suck.
You're right, dude. Like, I don't want to watch the fucking Knicks that many times.
I don't want to watch 3 of the most overrated players in the entire NBA. 2 of them for sure.
Fucking A, man.
I mean, RJ Barrett and Julius Randle are 2 of the most overrated players in the NBA.
I don't know what's going on, Middleton. His timetable seems to be varying every week.
Okay, so real quick on Middleton. I heard that his wrist isn't the reason that he's still out, is that it's his conditioning. That's why they keep sending him to the herd to practice, is so that he can ramp up his conditioning. Just because you don't want to get into a situation where a guy comes back super early and then he pulls a muscle in his leg or something like that because he's getting back into playing NBA speed. So that's what I've heard, but hopefully sooner than later. Hey, if he comes back Friday, good for Matt. Matt gets to see his first game back.
That would be amazing. Yeah, man. I wouldn't rush him back anyways. Early in the season, we're winning games. It is what it is. I mean, Middleton will have some games where Giannis and Brooke and all them are resting, so it'll be cool. Packers versus Rams, tickets still available. Tyler's already got some.
I'm already going. Yep, that's gonna be my wife's first Packer game, actually. So,
and Tim, I'm sorry to say, but I'm not paying money to sit all the way up top. So, if your seats were a little bit lower,
okay. Matt heard that too, so I'm not crazy for hearing that. Doesn't make me feel better about wanting to see him play. Hey, we want to see him play too, especially after seeing Pat come back. And it's like, it just feels good to see Pat on the floor. I want to see Middleton back on the floor. I love watching him play. I love watching his jump shot. He'll be back on December 30th. All right.
Hey, it's my brother's birthday. It's a big day in my life, December 30th. It's also LeBron's birthday, if you care about that.
I love that you mentioned LeBron right after Curtis.
And Tiger Woods. It's a pretty famous birthday. No. I have to buy Christmas presents. So sorry, Tim.
All right, man. The show that we will be on tonight, it's at 8:30. It is NFL Outdated.
Yes.
You can find them on Twitter. I'm not sure. I'm assuming they have a YouTube channel. So if you want to catch us on there, it's NFL Outdated. Jake and I will be on there at 8:30 tonight. So it'll be probably right around halftime of the Bucks game. And Jake and I will be on guesting on that show tonight. So that'll be cool for us to mix it up with some other football.
Yeah. I'll have to put on a different shirt.
I know. I was thinking about that too. It's like, do I just leave my Buck stuff on or do I change into Packer stuff?
I'll probably just throw a Packers hoodie on and fucking call it.
I'll just switch hats. I have a Packer one somewhere.
All right, man. I will see you in a few hours.
Yes. All right. Thanks everybody for watching and commenting along as always, and for ratioing negative people because that makes us happy.
Also, Matt, I missed you. Tim, see you later.
Hey, Matt last week, his comments were hidden, so he was commenting along on the whole show, and he's like, "Are you guys ignoring me?" And I'm like, "Matt, we wouldn't ignore you. We know you watch the show." So all of his comments started showing up in the replay.
Yeah,
of the
I was like, "Where has Matt been, man?" I was wondering. I was like, "Is this?"
He was here, but he was commenting in the shadows, so we couldn't see him.
But Matt's like Batman.
All right. See you guys later.